Hey everyone, it's Dylan, and today is the last day of the month, so you know what that means. It's time for my DVD and Blu-ray update video for the month of March. So for this month, I've gotten quite a bit of stuff, like 21 different titles, so I'm going to try to go through these pretty fast. Some of them are related to one of my current obsessions, true crime, so I'll mention those whenever I get to them. And then some are things that I've been trying to get for a while, and others are upgrades. So I'll start off with some of the DVDs that I got. So this is the first one. I got to pick this up at Walmart. I'm not sure how much it was, but this is Nightmares and Dreamscapes, and these are, I believe this was a television show, and there are 8 different episodes in it, and they're all based off of Stephen King stories. So that was one of the things that I really wanted, was to get, well, I really like Stephen King, so this was definitely a must-have for me, and I look forward to watching it in the future. And then next up, I've got a couple movies. If you've seen my most recent video, which was about My Favorite Murder podcast, I have a fascination with true crime, and since I found this podcast, it's just expanded so much. So I've got a couple true crime, like Lifetime movie type things. So the first one is Natalie Holloway. Now, this is the first movie in, I believe there's 2 parts, and the other one is called Justice for Natalie Holloway, and I actually have that one. So this is actually a really interesting story, and I'm glad to have been able to pick up the DVD. And then we also have the Craigslist Killer. So this is basically about a guy who solicits people on Craigslist and then ends up killing them after. So it is definitely interesting, and it's also based off of a true story. And the last one isn't so much, well, it is. There was a true crime story related to it, but this one isn't necessarily all about the true crime story. So this is the Selena movie. And I actually have never seen this before, and the people on my podcast, or on the podcast that I listen to, My Favorite Murder, they did a episode where they talked about Selena and what happened to her, and it really interested me, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to get the movie. It was only like $5 at Target, so I was like, I'm going to get it, and I will watch it. So it's definitely pretty interesting, and it's definitely a very sad story. So then next up, I've got a couple horror movies that I ended up picking up on DVD. So this one, next one, is from Ghost House Underground. It's called Dark Floors. I'm sorry for this glare. It just sucks having to film on my computer. But anyway, this is called Dark Floors, and this is kind of like, I've mentioned it before in my After Dark Horror Fest movies, and I have one here that I'll show you again. But these actually come with a slip. I mean, it's just a little plastic thing that has the Ghost House Underground stuff on it. But I want to try to, the ones that I can get that have this, I want to be able to get them. So I try to go to stores like FYE and stuff like that to actually find them like this with the actual slip on them. So then they're more uniform. Then I have a TV, here's a TV show. This is kind of randomly placed, but this is also kind of related to the true crime thing. It's a show called Guilt, and this is on Freeform. And this story, I've not watched it. I've watched like the first episode, I think, but it seems very, very similar to the story of Amanda Knox, who was a foreign exchange student in Italy, and her roommate ends up being murdered, and they basically suspect her, Amanda Knox, in doing this. And this story sounds very similar. I don't think they ever outright said that it was based off of her, but this is about a girl who's studying abroad in London, and her roommate ends up being murdered, and I'm pretty sure they start suspecting her. So I definitely found this interesting. This was on the Freeform channel. It did get canceled, I believe, so hopefully the ending is pretty decent. Alright, then back onto the horror movies, we have, so this is an After Dark original, and this is called Prowl. So I believe that the only After Dark Horror Fest movies type things that were not released with slipcovers were the originals, so I have a couple of those and I have not seen slipcovers for them, so I assume that they don't have them. But this is an interesting movie. It's kind of like a vampire type movie. It's very reminiscent of 30 Days of Night. So then this was from Horror Block. And the glare is just horrible. It's called Silent Retreat. I have not watched this yet, but basically it's about this girl who's troubled and she ends up getting sent to a camp, but it's like a rehabilitation camp, and their whole thing is that you can't look at anybody directly in the eye and you can't talk, so it's completely silent. And basically she starts realizing that things aren't exactly what they seem and that there might be issues. So then that was cool. And then this is another one of the 8 films to die for from the After Dark Horror Fest. And this was from After Dark Horror Fest 3, and this is called Voices, and it's got a lenticular cover. This guy in the bottom is what does it, but this is called Voices, and it's actually I believe it's a Japanese or Korean film. It doesn't really, it says it's from Korea, but it is definitely, I have not watched this one, but it definitely looks good, and I hope to watch it soon. Most of these 8 films to die for are pretty decent, whether they are good or not. It just kind of depends. And then I got some more Pokemon movies, which I know that's been a recurring thing on my channel lately, but so I got the box set. This is the box set number 1 for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and this includes 17 episodes, and that's on 2 discs, so that was pretty cool. And then I also got the box set number 2 for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimensions, and that one is also the same format. There is 2 discs and 17 episodes, so that's pretty nice that I was able to pick those up. I also made a couple upgrades to some of the Pokemon movies that I had before. Sorry for all the shaking. This is on my bed and it's not. So most of these I bought used, and I bought them off of eBay, so I wasn't able to see them. This one has a couple stickers on it, but the disc is nice, so I'll be able to just replace the case. But this is Pokemon Destiny Deoxys, the movie, and this includes a short. The original version that I had did not include the short, so I put it up for sale on my eBay, and I wanted to buy the one that has the full features, so it includes the short as well. And then we have Pokemon Forever. This was the same story. It comes with the short. The one that I had did not. So this was in pretty decent condition when I got it too. Actually, all the discs were like new. The only thing that had issues were the cases, which are pretty simple to fix. And then we also had the same one for Pokemon Heroes, the movie. I bought those all from the same person, and I was supposed to get Pokemon Jirachi, Wishmaker, and they never sent it, / apparently it got lost in the mail, so they ended up refunding me my money, and I bought it from somebody else, so I'm still waiting for that in the mail. And I was also able to pick up the last Pokemon movie I needed from the original Warner Brothers releases, and this is Mewtwo Returns. So this is like a one-off, I think it was a TV movie. It was like a standalone TV movie that happens after the first movie, and it has to do with Mewtwo coming back and Team Rocket trying to get him. And so I was happy to find that for a pretty cheap price. I know I said that the Warner Brothers releases of the Pokemon movies were expensive, but for whatever reason I was able to find most of them fairly cheap. I think I paid $13 for this, so that was a lot more than I expected. Like, there's some listings on eBay for this movie for like $80, so I was thankful I was able to find that cheap. Now the only kind of movie like that I need from my childhood that I need an original release for is the Digimon movie. Digimon is actually going off of Netflix on April 15th, so I am trying to watch at least the first 2 seasons of it right now, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get that done because I'm already probably like 2/3 of the way done with season 2, so I look forward to finishing that, and then I'll be able to watch the movie because I'm pretty sure the movie takes place after. I have it on VHS, but I'd like to get it on DVD if I can. It just happens to be really expensive. I think I was watching a listing on eBay, and they had it for like 100. It was not 100. It was like $30, and that's a little excessive for the amount that I would like to pay for it. Then now onto the Blu-rays. So I don't have a whole lot, but most of these are upgrades. So I sold I believe it was Pitch Black. So I got the Riddick, the complete collection, and this came with the Blu-ray and digital HD codes, so that was a cool thing. The thing is kind of broken, like the inside is a little broken up, so the thing doesn't close all the way, and it just kind of sucks, but hopefully I'll be able to see if I can find a new case for this. But I sold one of the movies, so I just ended up using that money and putting it towards this. So now I've got all the movies. It comes with all 4. It comes with the unrated director's cut of Riddick, the Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick, and it also comes with the Chronicles of Riddick Dark Fury, which I believe is actually like an anime type thing, so that was pretty cool. I got this movie from my roommate, but I'm not 100% sure. It's like a coming of age tale, I guess, but it's called Bellflower, and it seemed interesting, so I was like, you know what, I'll take it, yeah. And it's from Oscilloscope Laboratories, so that seemed pretty cool. Then I sold this, and I was able to get it. I bought it on Amazon. So this is The Covenant. So this is like about 4 friends who are like part of like a wizard covenant type thing. So I always really liked this movie. I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't know how my mind right now thinks about it, but I remember always liking this movie. So that was a nice pickup. So this was also a upgrade, and this is Anaconda. So this was the original Anaconda. This was also the original release. Mill Creek did a release of it, but it did not have any like special features or anything, and it just Mill Creek's releases are very like minimal. So this is the original Sony release of it. So I was happy to get that one as well. This was also a upgrade. I sold the DVD of it. So this is The Experiment. This is based off of a true story, and this was about the Stanford prison experiment, which was a psychological experiment where the guy in charge, I forget what his name is at the moment, but basically he decides to get volunteers, and he takes however many people and splits them up into prisoners and guards, and they're under like constant monitoring at all times, but they're not, the experimenters never intervene. But it basically is how when you give people certain things, so the prisoners, when you give people like these titles as prisoner or guard, it doesn't matter how nice somebody is or anything like that, you start to mold into these roles, and you can completely change like who you are, um, and it's pretty well done in this movie. I believe in the original experiment it only went 3 days before they had to stop, and they were like, stuff's getting out of control, we can't deal with this, and it's definitely crazy. But there was also another one more recently, I'm pretty sure it was called The Stanford Prison Experiment, and that's got a couple big name people in it. So I haven't watched that one yet, so I look forward to doing that. And then the last movie I picked up, which I got, the case isn't in the best condition, but it's called Red Mist, and I've seen this before. I don't remember a whole lot about it, so that's pretty much sucks. But for the month of April, so that was the last one, but I have some pretty exciting things for the month of April. I've got at least 2 pre-orders that I will get in April, which will be nice. One of them, I'll hint at one of them because I've already told you guys about it. But on April 24th, I don't know if I'll be getting it then, but that's when it's released, is the first time ever on Blu-ray Elvira, Mistress of the Dark movie that's coming. It's a German company that is doing it from a Cinescope, I believe is what they're called. And I don't know if they have any left, but I will leave the link to the website in the description below if you're interested in getting that. They potentially have some left. I got it the night that it opened up, and it was a little ridiculous because their site was flooded, and if I would have known that they would have still had copies at like a later date, I would have definitely decided to not wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and get it, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about these movies, if there are anything that you like, you don't like, or anything that you recommend that I should watch. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.